24th.
I know.
It was just May, wasn't it?
It
We missed-
felt
I
like it.
missed June. There you go.
I know.
Okay, good evening. This is the July 24th, 2019 meeting of the Laconia Conservation Commission. It is 6:12:56, and I am Dean Anson.
And I'm Lisa Moran.
Rob Mora.
Okay, we do not have a quorum, so we can just have discussions, and Wesley Bates will be here in approximately a half an hour when he gets done work. So, the first is to accept the minutes, and since we don't really have a quorum, we can't do that, but there are a couple of changes, and I'll give this to you, Rob, so that you can pass them on to Kalina. So, Lisa, do you know about the cyanobacteria presentation tomorrow night by the?
I'm signed up for it. I don't know much about it, but I'm signed up to go.
Okay, what time is it?
I have 6:30 down here at Church Landing.
Okay. Okay, I think that that's one of the things that, that might be a topic we want to make the public more aware of, just so that we prevent people from getting sick, because it can cause illnesses, particularly with dogs. So, okay. So if you can report back to us next month, or next meeting,
Oh, okay.
that would be great, thank you.
All right.
Okay, Pearly Pond, there was some trimming that took place. Do you know anything about the tree trimming on the right-hand side of the pond?
We have been asked to if we could be kept in the loop in it, and we have not heard anything. So we didn't even know that there was tree trimming.
Okay, well,
Have they trimmed the trees? Is that what you're saying, Dean?
yes, they have trimmed trees that were outside of the grassy area that was mowed.
Okay.
They removed some trees, they took down some of the bittersweet that was growing there. There's still more bittersweet, but
Okay.
they haven't done anything about that, so.
Okay. Thanks.
And I think they left some of the larger portions of the trees, the tree trunks. They left them in the wooded area, so.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the conductivity meter that's going to be
DES
calibrated.
will be calibrating it on the 29th.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. I did not go to the state school property.
I didn't either, but I know Donna Hepp from the Belknap County Conservation District did. I didn't, I can get more information from her on that, but I think they did a write-up in the paper on it too.
I believe so.
Right, they did.
And they talked about the different uses. And I drove by the property across the street from the state school property and saw some people from DES there, so that's the Opeechee Tract, and I stopped and talked to them. And they were citing the existing sewer pipes
Okay,
that go under the field, so they were collecting more information for the committee.
okay, okay. All right, that's all we know about.
That's
state
all
school.
that's all I know, although I do know people who went.
Okay, okay, so that, Rob, do you know any more about that? Okay. Pickerel Pond property, I have not done anything, so I know that last meeting, Wes and I said we were going to visit the property, and we have not gotten our schedules coordinated yet, so we will do that. Okay, we have no New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services applications. Do you have any information about the Agricultural Committee, Subcommittee?
I haven't spoken with Dick Christopher to know what he's been doing. So the only thing, just continuing, I'm still working with the schools. I mean, as far as agriculture, I guess that's the, but I think there's a lot more, maybe that we could be doing, and I saw in the minutes, I said something about, I wanted to talk with you at some other point about the farmer's market. Because right in the paper, Rick DeMarco was gonna put it in as a question for the Laconia Daily Sun, and then I guess they turned around and did a whole article on it, so I don't know what information may have come from that.
There was an article that was put out.
Yeah,
We got a phone call today.
Okay.
That somebody is looking to take up the reins on
Oh,
a
great.
farmer's market.
right.
Plausibly in some part of Laconia. I won't say what, because this person hasn't finalized it yet. They haven't come in. They're still in their preliminary planning.
Are they working through Department of Ag? I mean, this is somebody that's,
I do not know that.
okay,
I don't know how much they've done, but they're
okay.
calling, getting some info.
Well, I mean, the article on the farmer's markets named people who had been involved, and so this person may have been in touch with them, and I'm not suggesting we have to guide them through it, I just wondered. Okay,
So
Yep.
something could be happening, maybe,
oh, great.
next year.
Oh, not this year.
No.
It's kind of hard, yeah.
I guess it takes a lot of notifying farmers and.
Well, that, and it takes, they'd have to have a plan put together to come before the city to get approval to use the city property for it. And that's
Okay.
about a month and a half process, so by the
Okay.
time they got that, it might not be worth their too much by the time of year it is.
Right, okay.
And I think farmers sometimes, when they figure in how many markets they go to in their planning process of how much they're growing, and I don't know this for all the farmers, but I think a lot of them probably have it kind of figured out what their yield needs to be to meet their current demand. So,
Okay, okay,
you know what I'm trying to say, I don't know. but-
okay. No, that's unfortunate that we can't do it sooner, but I understand it.
Hopefully somebody will take up the reins for next year.
We can just get them excited about it. In the meantime, I apologize. I usually shut that off. I'm trying to shut it off. There we go.
Okay. Okay, so milfoil. So the milfoil work is currently underway. I think that the herbicides have been applied in certain areas, and the dash work is, I think, scheduled for later this summer. So, but I don't know the exact dates for any of those things. You know, Rich Tilton has taken over this, and he's got a 501c3 that is trying to raise money, and the purpose of the money would be to pay for the dash work as well as putting down the Procellacor, which is the herbicide that they're using this year. And the reason that they decided to use that instead of the 2,4-D is because the DES did a kind of a test last year, and they used 2,4-D in Molten Cove, and they used Procellacor in Pickerel Cove. And the 2,4-D was not as effective as the Procellacor.
So, knowing that there are some people who are vehemently against any kind of chemical application, what's the Procellacor's warning label look like compared to?
It's I'm not versed on the details, but the area affected is less than, it essentially goes to the bottom, stays on the bottom, and doesn't move. The 2,4-D moves more. So the Procellacor stays and it affects the roots of the plants.
For how long is it active?
I don't know.
Okay.
I I don't know any of those details.
So, is it possible to request that DES send us, like, what are we dealing with? That they send us information on what we're dealing with in the water supply?
What do you mean?
In other words, I would like to know, I would like to know what the long-term effects are, what the hazards might be, what the precautions are, so the milfoil's dead, but if that stuff stays in the sediments and then you got people in there disturbing the sediments, that stuff becomes mobile. Is it like, uh-oh, is it bad news for other plants, or is it bad news, like you shouldn't be swimming in it, or how long does this stuff live? What's its half-life, if you will, what's its ability to kill? How's it, it's just, if you spray me in the face with Skin So Soft versus spraying me in the face with DEET, it's like, I want to know what you're
I think that those are good questions, and I think that one of the people that could answer that question would be Lisa Eggleston. So this Saturday, we have
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
we have the Winnisquam Watershed Network annual meeting over at Leslie Roberts Park, and I think that she could answer that question.
What time does that start, Dean?
I think it starts at 9, from 9 until 11.
9 to 11, okay. I think you're right. I think it should be brought up at that meeting, but I also would like to have the city, either the city of Laconia or this commission request of DES that they provide information to us. I can think of some specific residents of Laconia who have been very vocal in the past about chemical application, and I think it is in our best interest to at least know what they're putting in the water and be able to respond to the citizens. And I mean, even if this committee or this commission isn't going to have a formal position on whether we're okay with it or not, we should at least be able to respond to the citizens.
Okay, I think that's a good point. And I think what we can do is we can ask for the material safety data sheets.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I will, I'll request the material safety data sheets.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no, thank you, that's a good point. So what Rich Tilton and his committee have been doing is they've been going to different businesses in the area around Paugus Bay and requesting people to donate, or businesses to donate money. And so far, they have gotten 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 9,000, 10,000. They've gotten about $10,000 that has been committed by different individuals and organizations.
That's great.
And so that's the good news. That's the good news. So the difference, so the estimated cost to do the treatment in the Paugus Bay area is $58,474, and that breaks down $38,874 for herbicides, that Procelicor, and dash of $19,600. So we say we have $58,500 is what the cost of this year's program will be.
And DES paid.
So the city has contributed $30,000 so far, or allocated
Okay.
$30,000. The DES grant that we get will be about $14,600, so that's a total of $44,600.
And your $10,000 is at $54,000 then.
So they don't have the $10,000 yet. That's what people committed, but, until the check clears, it's just a commitment.
That's true.
So the difference between the 58,500 and the 48,600 is a project deficit of $13,800. And so that's a dilemma. That's a dilemma. Rich and I sat down with the city manager this week and talked about it, so the city manager is aware of what the financial issue is.
Is there a way to reduce the square footage?
Right, there is, and we can tell the state that we can't afford to do certain areas, and they will, they will reduce. So, but the state is paying us, or is giving us a grant based on the $58,500 estimated cost. So if we reduce that number, that $58,500, then the amount that the state is going to give us is going to be reduced too.
So you're just saying it's proportionate if
It is.
if it's reduced, okay.
Yeah, so we're kind of.
Yep, I hear you.
Now, one of the things that Rich Tilton has put together is a comedy show, which is scheduled for August 29th at the Margate. The Margate has donated their facilities, and it starts at 7:30, and I haven't heard of these comedians, but, so it's, here it is. So it's, I think that if, the tickets are $30. There's a lot of information on a small piece of paper.
Yeah, tickets $30, and no, I haven't heard of them either.
Okay, so, I would encourage people to sign up. Rich hasn't sold that many tickets yet, but he's been told that ticket sales typically take place closer to the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah, well, and that's a Thursday night too, so.
Right. And
Okay.
these, I think Carolyn Plummer, who's the female comedian, lives in Wolfboro, lives somewhere around the lake, so. So,
She may have a fan base that's willing to chip in to come see her.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But, I think that the fact that the Margate has contributed their space free of charge
They can-
is,
They
is
can
a,
use that towards match, or is this money that's owed is not match, it has to be cash?
no, this is not match. This is, what do you mean? Match for the.
The
for
Margate. So in other words, if the room was $300, could
Oh,
the
I don't know. if-
August Watershed Group put that in as match towards their, that's what I was, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know that. But so far, the sponsors are the Tiki Hut Boats, the Daily Sun, the Margate, and
Good,
My Box Storage.
good.
So, Rich and his committee have been out there knocking on doors, talking to people,
Yeah.
trying to raise the awareness of milfoil and its impact on Paugus Bay.
Sure.
And so,
Somebody should have a milfoil costume contest.
there we go. There we go.
What kind of costumes can you make out of milfoil?
I thought you said the other day you wanted to have a MILF oil cook-off.
Yeah, yeah, I think we should have a competition to see who can come up with the best recipe for eating milfoil. And Wes and I have volunteered to be the judges.
I've eaten at restaurants, they have seaweed salad. You can do like with a, yes, I'm imagining that milfoil would be very much like eating a seaweed salad.
Apparently, the Native
Some sauce
Americans
on it.
used to eat milfoil, but it's not the Eurasian milfoil.
Well, that's true. Yep,
Because it wasn't here yet. So,
along with those snails, those mystery snails.
and where did they just found the mystery snails, where?
I was just in the paper, were they raking them up in Winnisquam or?
No, it wasn't Winnisquam. I know they're in Opeechee,
Yeah,
but there was some other,
it was just in today's, I read it online.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was WMUR. You're right, this guy has a rake, a special rake that he's using, because it's a mucky bottom, and he's raking up the mystery snails, and he's throwing them out on the, they recommended throwing them up on the uplands because they just dry up and die. But Amy Smagula's, one of the things she said was there are people, I guess, who eat them or something, I don't know.
Okay, well,
There's a market for everything.
there's a market
That's
for everything.
right.
So one of the things I talked to Rich and Scott about doing was, you know, we have this milfoil, and one of the things that we found a couple of years ago in some literature was that the milfoil is typically found in areas where there's sedimentation. So if we could reduce sedimentation in an area, then maybe we could prevent milfoil from growing there after we've treated it with Procellacor or hand-pulled it. So as an example, in Pickerel Cove, the milfoil is located where the stream comes in on the, what direction is that? On the western side of Pickerel Cove. And so that's the only place where they found 5 plants in Pickerel Cove this year. And if we could reduce the amount of sedimentation by following Lisa's article in Lakeside, the latest Lakeside has an article that Lisa wrote about stream restoration, and that's exactly what we're talking about, is how do we reduce the amount of sediment and other materials that go in so that we can keep, try to keep the milfoil from growing in that sediment. So it's, you know, I think if we can look at the tributaries for Paugus Bay and see if there's anything we can do to put woody debris in there to, you know, help.
Right.
So there was a lot of sedimentation that took place in Langley Brook when the Beaver Dam broke up on, I don't think it's Prescott Farms property, I think it's
Sullivan's, Brady
yeah,
Sullivan's.
Brady Sullivan's. But if we could put a dam there and then, you know, have it be more substantial than the Beaver Dam that blew out, you know, maybe that would be an effective way for reducing sedimentation.
We can certainly put it on the list. I'm not sure about Langley. We haven't done an assessment of either of those, and
Right,
so I
right,
don't know.
right.
My guess is the application might be a little different for Langley Brook than it would be the Pickerel Cove Brook because of the elevation and the, you know, but we haven't, I
And the
haven't had.
slope.
Well, yeah, so I haven't had anybody do an assessment, but that would be, maybe that's the thing to put it on the list.
So maybe we can, are the assessments that are being done for the Conservation District, are they being done by Trout Unlimited?
Yes, and well, in Belknap County, they're being done by Trout Unlimited. In Carroll County, they're being done by Tin Mountain Conservation. But it doesn't have to be Trout Unlimited necessarily, although that is who we prefer to work with, because we're also approaching it from the fish habitat aspect,
Right.
so.
So it's, when we did the Black Brook study, the geomorphological investigation, there were areas where it's recommended that we take action to reduce the amount of sedimentation. And perhaps we can look to implement some of those.
And that was in the Guilford Town line though, right? Where that, it was in the upland portion of it?
Right,
in the
right.
Guilford?
And
Yeah.
that's the work that Irwin Marine was doing up there. They were supposed to implement as part of their wetland,
Mitigation.
yeah.
So I can contact Randy Shuey, who was the engineer that was working on that.
That
and
would be
found
great,
out what
okay,
if anything had been done or if he knows.
okay. Okay, that would be great. And they, when we met there and we went out in the field, they talked about implementing some of those recommendations. So if we could find out which ones they are talking about doing and
Yep.
see if they've done any of them, and so that, okay,
No, it's a good thinking.
okay.
Did I just read that Spinnaker Cove just recently did more work on milfoil? The name, Spinnaker Cove name came up recently, and I don't remember why, but that would be the only thing I could think of, is that they may have done.
We were talking about that, Rich and the city manager, Scott Myers, and I think that the issue is that there are a lot of boats, and the milfoil is around the boats that are,
Oh, okay.
but they do have a milfoil problem. They have had a milfoil problem for years.
I just didn't know if they had done a reapplication of chemicals or something. I don't know why their name came up, and I apologize, I didn't remember.
I think that they wanted to do chemical application in the past, and the water department said that they could not because it's too close to the intake, the drinking water intake.
Okay.
And the water department cannot get those herbicides out of the water.
Right.
So once they get in, their treatment won't help at all.
My hair will fall out. Okay. I'm just teasing. I don't know.
Could be worse.
Don't drink the water, Rob.
That's Rob. Rob's, he's
Can't
ahead
get
of
much worse.
Okay. Okay, so do we have anything else on milfoil?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay, so staff, do you have a report?
I don't have anything new to report to you
Okay,
as of yet.
okay. All right. What's going on with Brady Sullivan?
We have not heard anything from them,
Okay,
so. You're talking about the proposed Langley Cove development
Mhm.
that was approved? Yeah, we haven't heard a peep yet.
okay, okay. Okay, did you go out and check any of the active construction sites to see if there was any erosion as a result of all the rain we had?
I have not had a chance to get out. We have not had a vehicle that has been available to us. We only had one, the building inspectors has it.
Okay,
And this last week, the assessors had both vehicles the entire week, so my inspections, I have the vehicle reserved for Friday morning at 8:30 to go out.
okay, this Friday,
Yes.
okay,
And
good,
because I'll be starting the inspections at 59 Doe for that, the beer exchange.
for the what?
The beer exchange that got approved.
Okay. Okay. All right, if you can just let us know if there are any issues or any places that, we could be of assistance going out and just observing something and reporting back to you so that,
Okay.
What's the beer exchange? It's a brewery or something?
No, it's just a pub, kind of local pub.
Distribution hub, like in and out?
No, they're just gonna do like a seasonal bar, pub kind of thing.
Oh.
Where is it?
59 Doe Ave.
Where's Doe?
Where's Doe Ave?
Oh,
I know, it's a
In the
big deal.
woods.
Sure, okay, sorry.
up towards the Weirs.
Okay.
Okay,
I guess we're not cool enough to know.
yeah, really, okay, well, okay. Okay. Well, if it's up on Doe, I hope the drinks are under $1.
Oh, 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 God, that was bad.
It's fine. You get what you pay for.
So off of Tower
Tower Street,
Tower Street.
okay,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Good. That's a hilly area there, so,
Sure is.
okay. Okay, so if we don't have anything else, I would like to go into non-public session.
Okay. Is this
Do you have to read it, Dean?
Yeah, I know, I'm just waiting for, are you gonna turn it off?
Oh yeah, I just want to make sure that it was going to be. Yep.
Or do we have to vote to adjourn first?
I think we
Oh, okay.
do a non-public session, then we,
Okay, I don't know. Deb's usually the one that
yeah, I know, she knows what, you know, the